flirt with disaster like it's my girlfriend. Yeah. Welcome to the Gonzo Radio Sports Desk. Hi, I'm Big Daddy Gonzo, seated across from me, still fussing and fumbling with all of his paperwork, with all of his scribbles all over it. Currently occupying one half of the set on that side. That's the Maz. Say hi to the nice people.
Good morning, everybody.
And we're waiting for the Guru's Guru to finish guruing off in the Guru Cave that we have set up. It's just something that we chiseled out of it. It's like a walk-in closet, and it's got computer screens and stacks of old newspapers and magazines, fantasy football index magazines.
Lots of clippings.
Oh, like a hoarder.
Yeah.
Like just a nutty hoarder. So while he's away, we can talk about baseball. We're going to talk about baseball without you. World Series.
Home field advantage? What is that?
Why were they playing the All-Star game again?
Yeah, right.
It's like, who cares now about the All-Star game? Because they're making a mockery of the home field advantage.
Yeah, great series, though, so far, if you like some offense. Surprisingly enough, everybody was touting pitching, but there's been some key hits and some big runs.
Wildly, right?
Yeah.
I mean, everybody was talking about these pitchers destroying people.
Yeah.
People were crying that it's going to be a really fast and boring World Series. Instead we're getting 3-hour games with like a lot of offense.
Yeah,
a lot of
last
big
game was
plays
almost
and
4 hours long. It's a bit, again, I don't mind 4, 5, 6 hours, just more baseball.
Yeah, well, that's for you baseball nuts. You guys you're holding on to every last minute of every last
it's running
inning.
out. It's almost done. This clock will be starting for when pitchers and catchers report in the second week of February. So we'll get there.
Yeah, you are literally the only person I know that starts talking about that. It'll get to be
the day after the Super Bowl, the clock is on. Yeah,
right.
It's usually about 40 days for at that point till pitchers and catchers report. So
you'll just walk up to me at work and you'll be like,
28 days. Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome.
Like 23 days for what? 23 days till pitchers and catchers show up.
Yeah,
it's like
it's awesme.
You're anticipating it now.
I'm smiling thinking about it. You're right. It's crazy.
You're
That's
thinking
insane.
about it now. You're like, ooh, let me look. 114 days.
There's one thing about a kid in a candy shop, same face every time. So that's pretty much me. Yeah, when it's start of baseball season.
It's 115 days.
Yeah,
3 hours and 14 minutes.
It's crazy. That's how it is.
Well, and I feel you. But yes, it's turning out to be a bit of a classic. I can't wait to see. Now it is down to best 2 out of 3.
Pretty much.
That's it.
Yeah.
2 out of 3.
Yeah.
That's it. Next team to win 2 games out of the
Today
next 3.
should be a bullpen game for Houston, I believe, because I'm not sure how they were setting it up. That's what the talk was.
Verlander would be going on 3 days rest.
Yeah, I think they're going to want to wait
4
on that.
3 days. 3 days rest.
They've only had 1 day off. He pitched. Yeah, so it would be he would be pitching on his 4th day. Yeah, so 3 days rest. And I don't think they're going to want to do that. So now that they're tied, now if they would have been desperate and they would have been down maybe 3-1, it would have been different.
The savior.
But now that they're 2-2 and they're back at home, they got to be kind of feeling that the pendulum has kind of swung back their way, and if things hold true and their pitching pitches a little better than what it's been, and I'm counting on that happening, then we got a series again.
Yeah, because I know I've spent a lot of time over these past 4 ball games doing this.
Yeah.
And it's like making faces, catching myself.
Yeah.
Sitting here, you sit there in the chair and you're watching and you're like interested, and then all of a sudden you're like, and you catch yourself making a face like, oh, wow, that's pretty cool. Because, I mean, when you get clutch hitting, when you get clutch pitching from guys that you're not expecting clutch pitching from, okay, and big plays at timely times.
Yeah, well, this was
we got our first grand slam last night, right?
Yeah, this is what's interesting, too, is bullpen, to talk about bullpen pitchers. These guys are seeing the same sliders, the same curveballs over a period of days. So that curveball doesn't have the same break anymore. That slider doesn't have the same break
Not
anymore.
As scary.
That 98-mile-an-hour fastball, you're catching up to it a little bit quicker. Now, again, you can say it because they're playing all year long, but the thing is matchups, and they get to see the same arm movements and delivery and release points, and it gets a little bit easier for the hitters.
Right. Well,
and I think that's what you're seeing now.
But they did whip out their number 4 starter last night.
Sanchez. Oh, no, for Houston.
It had a funny name, Yuga Muga.
They were bullpen last night, too. Peacock had a couple of big innings in that game last night.
I saw him play.
Yeah, again, Game 5, this is going to be a great one. Tomorrow night, suited up. So travel day today. So back to Houston. I believe, isn't it? Right? Are they back in Houston today, Game 5?
It's got to be.
Yeah.
I think. Oh, no, wait. They do 3.
2-3-2?
Yeah, 2-3-2.
Yeah, okay.
So you got one more.
Yeah. Okay.
One more,
it's a great series so far, and it should continue.
Yeah, well, it's there's no more baseball in Washington after I believe it's tonight.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're a little behind on the baseball other than what we watch. So
Yeah.
if like somebody got hurt in the last like 4 hours, if somebody woke up and tripped and fell or broke their big toe on their coffee table overnight, we don't know about it because Sunday is usually football day, and we got a lot to get to. And I mean a lot to get to, enough to the point where my voice is getting hoarse. I don't think I got the bubons, but it's been a tough week of herding cats. I did a lot of talking Friday night, a lot.
Yeah.
When you got close to 100 broads, it's you got to talk a lot in 2 different languages. But I digress. Oh, we have
the guest.
arrival.
Hello, sir.
Of the Guru's Guru. Have a seat, Kappa Squad. What do you got doing? Take a load off already.
We got a few people in a live chat, but I'm having a hard time accessing it from.
It's a shame because I just took a question off the Guru's Guru, and I told the guy, "Hey, look, I don't have time to answer this right now. Go to the show.
Yep.
Go to the chat."
Hi, everybody from the Guru's Guru, from the Screwy Louie Football League, and from the Gonzo Radio Sports Desk, for those of you who get our advertisements, all 15 or 20 of you. But hi.
I got my information on the reply, so whenever you're ready, we can start one off here.
We're ready, dude. I'm
Let's
ready
rock and
for
roll.
you.
All right, from the Guru's Guru, we have a conundrum, a quandary. They're looking at quarterback. They're looking to replace Lamar Jackson, and they're looking at Danny Dimes for the Giants, or Mason Rudolph for Pittsburgh Monday night against the Dolphins. And
let's pick on the Dolphins.
sorry, but that is the story here.
Don't apologize to me for their sorry ass.
Right. So that's the conundrum. Anyway, the first thing I went to look at was the passing defense for both the Bears and the Dolphins. Now, there's a pretty big difference in what's going on over there.
Discrepancy.
Yes, the Bears have allowed 6 touchdown passes on the season. The Dolphins have allowed 16.
16.
So that's quite a difference right
A
there.
season's worth.
Yeah, interception-wise, the Bears have 4, the Dolphins have 1. So that was important in that respect. Also, plays of 20 yards or more. The Bears have given up 17 pass plays of 20 or more. The Dolphins have given up 27. So again, a big difference in the two. So just looking at the passing defensive numbers, it says Mason Rudolph all over it.
You're captioning my misery.
I'm going to add to that a little bit. CBS Sportsline.
Oh, sure you would, Steeler fan.
Mason
What?
Rudolph. No, they have Rudolph as I think 25 points this week in a full PPR format. They got him rated like inside the top 10. So he's sitting on waiver wires if anybody's interested. But go and pick up Mason Rudolph. So yeah, that's a plus matchup obviously for the Dolphins today. So
Well, they should also go to the Minnesota Vikings and trade for Kyle Rudolph, and then they'd have both guys named Rudolph.
exactly. And if it's Christmas time, it gets real confusing.
red-nosed quarterback,
yeah,
the
you get the
red-nosed tight
reindeers
end.
and everything talking about it. So yeah, it's a lot. I had something
Yeah,
else
sure.
to add to your statement, but I don't remember, so we'll get to it later. But yeah,
okay.
Go Mason Rudolph.
Go Mason Rudolph, you friggin' homer. All right, fine. What else you got?
Well, of course, you got 2 big buys today, which is
Huge.
the Cowboys and the Ravens. So a lot of people have Dak Prescott. Lamar Jackson is a big sit today. I'm sure you probably already found a quarterback already, but just wondering what might be out there and what might be good. Of course, we just mentioned Mason
Yeah,
Rudolph.
if he's out there, you got to get him now.
Or Josh Allen at home today against Philadelphia. Philadelphia's
It's real windy out there.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
one of the
and
weather
that's-
reports.
and that's the thing
right?
we-
In Buffalo.
you know,
We should
that-
talk about that.
Right.
What I read, 30 mile an hour, almost sustained gust to 40. That's tough to pass.
Yeah,
And-
that's really tough. That means 2 quarters of passing. That's
Yeah,
all it is
for
with the
And
wind.
Josh Allen isn't that accurate to begin with.
You know what though? What do you think about Gore though? Gore can be popular today.
I think I have the Buffalo defense in a lineup somewhere.
Because
So, yeah,
the Eagles
it's-
do not defend pass catching running backs well at all. They're in the bottom 5. So it should be interesting today if they can't
You
throw
By
it
know,
the
down.
way,
the
and also
ubiquitous-
what people don't realize is backup Kansas City quarterbacks have done well fantasy point wise. Matt Moore could come away with 20 or more points tonight. And
I remember a few years back when he subbed for Tannehill, and he had a good game, really good game against the Jets.
Yeah, well, he still doesn't have an incompletion this year, right? What was he last week? 14
yeah,
or
yeah.
14 or something like that. So he's on a
And now
pretty good roll.
he gets another whole game. I mean,
I think he's actually only going to end up playing this game because I mean they're showing Mahomes jogging and taking reps.
Yeah, which is
Casey's got a bye week next week. Is that why? Is that why they gave him?
No,
week
no.
12.
Actually, he's week 12, this is kind of surprising. The thing about his injury, and I looked into it because when you get a kneecap dislocated, there's still a tear in there, a ligament tear. It's not going to be a full tear, but there is a tear. I mean, he is playing on pain. That's why he's not playing tonight.
Yeah. Well, it stretches the tendons, the ligaments that support the kneecap, and they don't want to re-injure the area. The re-injury rate is very high with an injury like that unless you give it enough time rest.
And there's a lot of there's soft tissue damage around the kneecap because I mean the kneecap is settled into a spot on your knee, and your knee is essentially going like I get the camera back and forth like this is your kneecap, so it's rolling back and forth under your kneecap. It's sort of a stabilizer because it's held by anyway. I'm not Dr. Gonzo.
I was going to say brought to you by Dr. G. That was pretty cool.
But I was because I've had my knee examined a few times, if you will.
Yeah, I've had a few.
Another quarterback that might be out there is Gardner Minshew. He's pretty much taken up on a lot of teams, but there's still a chance that he's out there. He's got the Jets at home.
Maybe Carr as well. Carr might be out there. I mean, he's got a favorable matchup this week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so that's another one. So
and he's got Terrell Williams coming back. Zay Jones is getting playing time now that he's figured out the playing book.
I did get this Danny Dimes Rudolph. He actually has Danny Dimes and Rivers, but Rivers got all sorts of problems. I mean, he's got two reliable receivers right now, and Eckler and Hunter Henry. I mean,
I have a question, just a side note. When you're done, but go ahead. It's about Danny Dimes.
Mike Williams is hurt as well.
Oh, Mike Williams. I'm sorry, and Mike Williams. The fill-in for Keenan Allen is unknown Jeremy Davis. So
it says a Jeremy over there. Jeremy from the neighborhood.
Any related to Ed Davis?
Most likely Corey Fuller will be on Williams. So that takes out that particular. And it's the Bears. It's in Chicago. It's going to be rough.
Well, Travis Benjamin's out as well, too.
He's IR. Travis Benjamin's IR.
He's done.
Inman's IR.
Can we not call Danny Dimes anymore? Because don't you have to kind of earn it? What has he done to get the nickname Danny Dimes? I mean, I know it's kind of catchy and cute and stuff like
fun.
that. But if his name was like Richard, what would we call him? I mean, it's just silly. You earn the nickname, in my opinion. You don't just. It's like, what are we doing here? Danny Dimes. That's Giants fans.
He's the starting quarterback for the biggest media market in the U.S.
He certainly is.
He's certainly going to get a nickname.
Danny Dimes.
So it is what that is.
Yeah, Danny Dimes.
And actually, you could get a bounce back game from Sam Darnold this week at Jacksonville.
Le'Veon Bell was pumped up this week. They think that he's going to. I traded for him in one of my leagues, but I think he's in a plus spot.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens there. I like Jacksonville. I like AJ Chark today in that game with DJ Chark. It's
DJ Chark. Oh God.
Anyway, with D.D. Westbrook having a shoulder injury that he's playing with, I certainly like Chark today. So that should be interesting.
What's wrong with me today? Yeah, don't do it. The camera's on you for God's
sake. It's in my
head.
I cannot stop.
I did it. Yeah, that's what you get for having children.
It's in my head. Yeah, it's in my head.
How dare you have a child?
I know, an amazing child too.
On the buys, there's also two tight ends that are on bye today. That's pretty big. Both Mark Andrews with the Ravens and of course Jason Witten, he future Hall of Famer with the Cowboys.
Witten, whom I've played from time to time. It's really funny. He's exceeded his projection like 2 out of the 3 times I played him. But I mean, his projection was like 7.5. But you get 11 points out of him.
That's all you want from a tight end. At least 10 points out of a tight end. You're good to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not everybody can put 16, 20 points out there.
There was an age reveal for Witten last week. You guys didn't see it. He's not the player you thought he was. He's actually 56 years old. He looks great.
He looks great.
Yeah,
for 56.
I mean, he's really held together pretty well over the years.
I'm almost 56, and look at me. I mean,
we should have a poll who retires first, Jason Witten or Tom Brady.
Right.
I'm taking Tom Brady. I think Jason Witten plays 11 more years.
Well, if you found a tight end or you had a tight end ready to go for those guys, good for you. If not, there's still a couple out there. Jonnu Smith with the Tennessee Titans. Delaney Walker's out, so Jonnu Smith
meat on the bone.
Start. You're getting Tannehill in there who throws to his tight ends. Tennessee's going to be working real hard on the running game against Tampa, which is bad for them because that's what Tampa does best, which is stop the run. And so they're going to have a hard time with the Buccaneers there. But anyway, that's one of them. And the other one is O.J. Howard on the other side of the field O.J. Howard is out.
He's out playing. Cameron Brate.
So Cameron Brate
Really
is
like
a
that.
start, especially with that offense.
Ooh, let me get some of this. How about the backup for the New Orleans
I was
Saints?
pulling him up right now. Can't get
Okay,
it.
Hill.
Josh Hill. Yeah, one of the guys that I was looking at today as well. Arizona is the worst in the league at defending
He
the tight
got
end.
in a little bit
Yeah.
last week, and
Yeah.
I think he got 4 catches
Yeah.
for like 45 yards or
Yeah,
something.
sure did.
And he is very well liked by Drew.
he's back
by the
today.
way, Drew
Well, not
Brees
so
coming
much.
back today.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not so much. I mean, Drew doesn't use a tight end
Man
as
is coming
much
back.
as Bridgewater did.
Right.
Okay. So, and that's something to think about for a second because, he is the receiver and the running back. That's who he throws to.
Well, he's
Well,
missing
we-
one of the running backs today. Kamara's out, so that's
Right.
a big issue for them. But
Right.
Murray should step in
Murray
there.
be fine.
Yeah.
Right, and we're going to see a battle between Patrick Peterson and Michael Thomas today. Thomas is going to be blanketed by their number one cover guy.
I don't think it's going to be an issue because Thomas is so good at being elusive to the corners that they put on him.
Oh, you'll see him doing having a track meet up and down
Right.
in motion across the field.
According to Pro Football Focus, number 3 route runner, Michael Thomas. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Not shocked, not
And
surprised.
not only that, years ago when Megatron was in the league, and he would get Patrick Peterson every single time, and he would find a way to beat him almost every single time.
Yeah.
So he is beatable. He's all world. He's a 3-time All Pro. He's a fantastic defender, but he can be had.
Plus, you remember too, Thomas led the league last
He's a
year
pain
in
in the
catch
ass.
rate too, over 90%. It was like 93% catch rate last year. Thomas, it was crazy. He doesn't
Yeah.
miss the ball, so throw it
Yeah,
his way. He's going to catch
He's going
it.
to go get it.
Yeah, he's going to catch the football. So
Yeah,
So
it's gonna be
he'll
an
get
interesting
his
game to watch.
catches. Sure, Teddy Ginn, whatever. He'll get it. Thomas will get his catches.
All right. Anything else? Is that it, or you got one more?
On buys, the running backs, Ezekiel Elliott and Mark Ingram are on a buy this week also.
And who are some of the replacements you're touting?
Well, the two hot names right now are Ty Johnson with the Lions,
Got him.
with Kerryon Johnson going on IR with a knee,
yeah,
and Chase Edmonds with David Johnson being out both today, and I believe
He's going to be a tough get because if the guy was smart enough that drafted David Johnson was smart enough to stash him on the bench like I should have been, I'm an idiot. But he's gone. He's gone in a lot of leagues.
right.
I'm sure
Not only
he's
that,
well owned
Johnson
right now.
will be out Thursday also coming up this week.
I will say this about
making my
Kerryon
butt
Johnson
itch.
for the Lions is they were using him very heavily. He was north of 22, 23 touches a game. So if this other Johnson comes in now, I mean, he's got a big
Yeah.
shoes to fill. So you wonder how they're
Right.
going to use him and if they're going to just spread it around. Because don't they also have
The receiving back that they have, the only other
Zenner?
name
Is
is
he still there?
J.D. McKissick,
Okay.
formerly
Yeah.
of Seattle, is their receiving back. But the problem is this year, Stafford is not using the running back as he did in years past. With the Riddicks and guys of old.
But he is throwing a lot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Oh, no
yeah.
question.
As far as of course, look at the big game that Marvin Jones Jr. had last week with the 4 touchdowns, and of course that'll carry over to Kenny Galladay. So that'll be big for them, and it's the Giants. So big time for those guys.
They're starting to get to the point around Detroit where it's pick your poison.
Yeah.
And the poison, part of that poison is not the running back, not yet at least, even with Kerryon Johnson and how well he played up till now.
Yeah.
He only had 308 yards rushing and 10 catches on the season. So
Right. He was slowed down. Well, he had one good game, but other than that, it's been a
Yeah, well,
slog for
again,
him.
like his usage rate was still extremely high, but again, effectiveness and other things, offensive line play, and just their team—they're not playing well. Lions aren't a good football team right now. So,
here they used the 8th overall pick on T.J. Hawkinson.
Yeah.
He's yet to be a fantasy impact at this point. He had one good game opening day, and I think
one
that was
good
it.
game.
yeah,
And that was it.
Yeah. I was fooled to pick him up, and I picked him up, and I dropped him like a hot rock. Like, just put him on my bench. He was questionable. Figure, okay, maybe the kid will, he'll get well and he'll come in and he'll play, and it'd be a really good steal. Wrong answer. Nope. So
That's it on the buy day front.
that's all for you.
Nice.
All right, on to you. The Maz has some detailed analysis
yes.
that we have about 11 minutes to get out.
Oh yeah, I got a few things we went over.
Can you do it in 11 minutes?
Yeah, we got some angles.
I mean,
what I
that's-
did over the last few days is just went through and just picked the top 5 teams. We can do a little round table on this. The middle 5 teams, and of course the bottom feeders we all know. But I pulled up some interesting stuff. The top
Why
5
do I
teams.
feel attacked when you say bottom feeders?
Well, we're not. We may not. The 11 minutes. Fortunately, we don't have 12 minutes. Otherwise, we would talk about the
I'm
bottom
not
feeders.
taking the whole Miami Dolphins thing.
Can we
personally.
agree? Maybe the top 5 or 6 teams in the league right now: Pats, Chiefs, Green Bay, Saints, the Niners. 49ers. Okay, those teams are probably the better teams right now. The Ravens, I put them in there too.
The Vikings were until Thursday night. They looked okay.
I have the Vikings in the second tier, but defending the first set of tiers, what I was able to do is go back and doing a lot of reading and finding out there's a measurement called defensive value over average. Now, what that does is takes into effect every single play in the NFL and the circumstances around the play in the NFL. For example,
so what's the anagram for that? It's defensive value.
DVOA.
DVOA. So
Now,
mark that down, kids.
Yeah, don't
Take
get
notes,
locked
DVOA.
into the word defensive because that D in the beginning, this DVOA can also be used for offensive efficiency as
Right.
well. It's just a name. So just
Right.
let's go with DVOA.
Right.
What it does essentially is it looks at, and a simple example is, how is this 3-yard run different from this 3-yard run? They take into effect, was it on 1st and 10, that particular play call? Was it on 2nd and 5? Who is the team? Situational. What was the score? All these go into it to
It was a
create.
4th and 1 and it converted.
I mean, all these things go into this DVOA. Now, what was interesting about that is clearly the teams that are, excuse me, have the better records are high rated in terms of DVOA. Excuse me, defensively in particular. The two teams that are right now clearly maybe in terms of the front runners, New England and San Francisco, just throw numbers at you. New England's 49.7%, San Fran 39.1%. Those numbers on their own don't mean anything, but now when I tell you that the next closest team to those two is at 12%, and that's Carolina, you can clearly see how these two teams are where they are right now.
The common denominator, they get you off the field. They win third downs. Every friggin' third down I have seen against the New England defense has been by you're off the field, whether
Yeah.
it's 3rd and 3, 3rd and 19, 3rd and 1.
Third down efficiency.
The third down
those
efficiency is
teams are up there.
bananas.
You know what?
San Francisco, too. I mean, seriously.
Well, it's funny you say San Francisco. You know, did a lot of research on them, and this is what I've come away with for who they are. Coach Kyle Shanahan, obviously, young genius, offensive mind. That's what they touted. Got his start at 24 years old being an offensive control coach for Tampa. We all know the rest.
Nerd.
Atlanta, offensive coordinator at 28. Okay. They're doing it with defense. San Fran, number 1 in sack rate. They are number 2, like we said, in DVOA in terms of total team defensive efficiency.
Get off the field.
They're third in the league in terms of offensive line adjusted yards, which means every time they line up for the football, they get an X amount number of yards per play. But where they are is they're 15th overall in offensive efficiency. So they're doing it more or less on the defensive side of the ball, controlling the ball, and then just smacking you in the mouth.
Does Jimmy Garoppolo not qualify as an elite level quarterback?
I will say this. They're winning games. It's tough to assess how you do this, but he's coming into last week, he was 5th worst in terms of average yards per pass.
which is crazy because he's got like a 12-2 record.
Yeah. So again, maybe that's a little bit of game script. Maybe it's how they're designing their offense. It's working, whatever it is. But I will say this: they're not
Game
taking
manager.
They're not. He's got skill level too. You've seen him throw the ball across
I
the
know.
field. He
I've
can make
seen
every
him.
play.
I've seen him make plays.
But they've got 2 or 3 guys running the ball effectively. They've got one of the better tight ends in football with Kittle. Obviously, offensive line, defensive line, they're dominating both sides. It's a recipe for success. So to me, those numbers of where he is in particular, I don't care. They're winning games. They're not turning the ball over, and they're smacking them out every time they line up. Now, that being said, tough matchup today against Carolina because Carolina can play some defense too.
Yeah, well, like you said, they're the next highest percentage, which is at 12% for the DVOA. So.
Yeah, 3rd overall in the league. So now again, you can go into strength of schedule, and the debate is who has New England really played so far. But there's no joke about those two defenses. They smacking them out. They bring it. They're well coached. They're disciplined. They don't make mistakes. They create turnovers.
Is Luke Kuechly the best middle linebacker in the NFL right now?
Probably, I'm sure he's in the discussion. I mean, not going through the entire list. He's probably top 3, I would imagine, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, for a guy who's had like 15 concussions, he's pretty alert and smart.
Yeah, pretty good.
That poor kid, man. I really hate to think down the line.
Yeah, Von Miller's another
He's going to
one.
have that one concussion.
There's a
that's
few.
gonna quit.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not being a homer on this, but T.J. Watt for the Steelers is
He's another
really
one.
good. Yeah.
Exactly.
So I mean, there's a
Yeah, but
bunch.
he's a defense. He's an edge. He's a defensive end linebacker.
Yeah,
So
ER, I guess, is the
it's true.
I was talking about middle
initial
linebacker.
designation now for those guys.
Oh, it's a 3-4 we play. I mean, that's where he plays. He plays on the
Yeah,
outside.
he's a savage, just like his brother. So, okay. Well, what were your middle? You were talking about your bottom feeders, and now, no, that was the top.
Yeah, I mean, the next group of teams that I think fall in there, obviously the Panthers, the Vikings, the Seahawks. And Dallas, I think their strength of schedule gets a little easier for them down the stretch. They had their tough stretch, and now they're still on top of the division. So despite losing all those games, they're in a pretty good position because the rest of the division sucks, in my opinion.
Well, let me double back to the Seahawks because they got a matchup with Matt Schaub
really.
starting for the Atlanta Falcons in Atlanta, and I really like Seattle's defense's chances. Because lest we remember, Schaub is like one of the masters of the pick six.
Oh, for sure.
He is. I mean, it doesn't matter from where on the field. He's always somebody is going to jump one of his routes and take it back for six.
Especially, you got to think. I mean, listen. Granted, he's been there for a few years now. I'm sure he knows the offense.
Around 2 years too long.
But in that offense, I'm saying he's been there. He knows the playbook. I'm sure he's a smart guy. But again, you still got to be able to throw the football. So it's curious to see how that works out.
In Kansas City, he's good. Technically, it's like his 18th season or some shit like that.
Yeah, but this year so far, he does not have an incompletion. So that's pretty good.
Crazy but true, right?
You know what? It bothered me not putting Seattle in the top tier, and this is a common theme with Russell Wilson and that team. They just don't seem to get the credit, and I think I jumped on him too. But, I mean, I love Russell Wilson, and I like Seattle, but still, I have them below.
But you're willing to shit on them. Go ahead.
Just because their defense has been exposed in a few games against some teams that weren't very good, in my opinion. I still go back to the first game of the year against Andy Dalton, who the Bengals haven't looked good since, but yet he threw for 400 yards against them in game one. So that's still in my mind.
Stop beating on the table. You're shaking the camera.
Sorry. I got excited. So, that's in my mind. But their defense has played well the last few weeks, so maybe they're starting to find themselves.
He's playing like the MVP. I mean,
no question. I'm a big Russell Wilson homer. But again, against the other teams, I mean, right now, Seahawks, Pats, it's going to be Pats. Seahawks and Green Bay, again, maybe it depends on where they're playing, but I'm probably going to lean Green Bay now because they've got defense and they're running the football. So they're close, but I think a couple of things have to go their way in order for them to get to that next tier.
Yeah. So I mean, losing to the Ravens was big. That changed a lot of people's thinking.
Yeah.
With that game being in Seattle.
Yeah, Colts Texans I have in that next tier.
In the rain, by the way.
And the reason why I couldn't put either one of them because I guess whoever wins that division, and it's clearly one of those two teams is probably going to be obviously in a pretty good position. They'll host a playoff game and they'll be in a good spot to move forward too. So Colts Texans is in that next tier as well. Whoever wins that division is going to obviously take that spot. So.
Yeah, there's a lot of really good teams that are on the come right now, if you will.
For sure.
They're coming up. You see the progress. The question is who takes down the king? Who takes down the evil empire? Who takes down Emperor Belichick and Darth Brady? Who takes them down?
Well, you'd have to look at their schedule. I'm pretty sure they have the Ravens on the schedule, so there's an opportunity there.
Their schedule changes. It gets harder. I mean, no question. But again, what we're doing, be careful, and I say this all the time, we're playing hindsight with their strength of schedule because they made these teams look so bad. I think you also need to take a look and go against and see who those teams have then played and look how they've compared against those teams. Because the Patriots, they've scored more points on defense than they've given up on offense. They've scored more, than they've given up on defense.
Fantasy-wise,
it's insanity.
They're like the fourth best scorer in the league.
It's insanity.
And I am, if anything, I am the exact opposite of a Patriot apologist. It's not so much that I hate them. Okay, because you got to respect excellence. You got to respect it.
At this point, how would you not?
Look at it this way: the Patriots, if they were their defense was a quarterback scoring team, they're the number 4 quarterback in the National Football League.
Right, exactly.
Team quarterback, New England Patriots defense.
And I would.
It's crazy.
If I were a New England Patriots fan, and I've heard New England Patriots fans say this, it's like we don't make the schedule. And what do you want us to do? Take it easy on you in the third quarter?
I get it.
You want us to let up?
I get it.
You want us to not return the blocked punt for a touchdown?
These are big boys.
You want us to not pick up that fumble and scoop it up and run it back?
18 interceptions. 18 at this point in the season.
Right. So I honestly am genuinely worried about them going undefeated. Genuinely.
Now,
you talk about the Ravens. You talk about they still got division games, and Buffalo isn't necessarily their suicide game anymore because Buffalo proved they can hang with them. But I am genuinely worried about them going 16-0 in the regular season. I am genuinely worried about them going undefeated.
Here's why Buffalo hung with them.
I would like to see Don at least pop one more cork.
Offensive line adjusted yards. Buffalo number 1, the only team that lines up every play and gets 5 yards a play.
Right. The good news is while the Patriots are the best team in the league, the next 4 are all from the NFC. So there's a good chance one of those teams are going to be in the Super Bowl.
Evil empire, dude. I think Brady's a robot.
You know, it's funny you said the interception total. It's huge, but also remember too, and I don't want to sound like I'm contradicting
No,
myself.
I know it's who they played.
Well, no, it's not only that; it's situations. The other teams are behind, so they're not running the football.
Yeah.
So more opportunities creates more situationals
Yeah.
for interceptions and other things too. But you're right, taking the ball away. I mean, the team is just. I mean, best in history right now to this point in the season by far.
Yeah, it's
better than
historical.
the '85 Bears. Better than the other maybe your Killer Bees. I don't want to keep picking on Dolphins.
You can say killer
Yeah,
bees.
better than, I mean, statistically speaking, they are on pace to shatter every NFL defensive team record in the NFL. It's insanity, but they're the Patriots, and this is what they do. So.
And the optimistic Miami Dolphin fan can say, "Hey, our coach helped build that defense."
Sure.
Because he did, and they try to use that defense, although you can't use that kind of defense with Uber drivers and soon-to-be superstars of the XFL and former Canadian players. Yes.
And the history out there of former Patriot coaches isn't very well either. So
Well, Bill O'Brien, I think, is helping to dispel that, and I think that the demand for the assistant coach that jilted Indianapolis, McDaniel.
Yes.
Yeah, that little shit. Because they're keeping him. So I don't think so much that it's the overall relative poor value of the coaches coming off of that tree, and oh my God, I think I had a bug fly into my friggin' eye. But I think that there are only a few, and too many teams are trying to take too many chances on too many different coordinators. And one thing that you saw is that these coordinators didn't have success before they were coordinators for New England. So I mean, there's layers to this.
Obviously,
So.
Patricia, Vrabel, you can go down the list.
Well, Patricia's actually got something going on in Detroit right now.
They're trying to get to 500 today.
Right.
So
Right, and I mean, we're talking. He took over a franchise that was flatlining. All right, they really were. They were falling apart. So he's got them going at least in the right direction. They're not finishing 3-13. They're not 0-16. Like they've done actually recently. So yeah, I say the jury is still out on Matt Patricia. And it's definitely still out on Brian Flores.
Yeah,
so.
Patricia took a lot of heat last year, appearance-wise. Everybody was like, hat on backwards coach.
Yeah, screw them.
I don't know. I don't buy into all that stuff.
By the
You
way,
guys-
hello from Publix, by the way. Frank says hello from Publix, and Iris is here.
so
They're
you
in
got
the
the
chat room.
Okay, so
Yeah,
I
got
got
it
the
right
chat
here, too.
room here.
Yeah, I got it right here.
Oh, hey, look, and there's a Matthew Masarachi Chikio.
Who the hell is that?
Masara Czechia. What is that? Is that like Czechoslovakian or something?
My family started the cherry company. The maraschino. What was it, maraschino cherries? Is that what it was? I don't know. My whole family started. Bad joke. All right. So anyway, I think it's maraschino actually. Cherry, isn't it?
Is it time for us to take a break? Do we need a break? We need a timeout. We
I
need to
finished
drink
my
our
coffee. And yeah.
Okay,
so
need
we
more coffee?
We need to fill up some more. So.
All right, yeah, because that injury report's about to fart out here any minute. So I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna take a real quick break, and we will be back in about a minute and a half with your updated injury report here on the Gonzo Radio Sports Desk.
Now, let's analyze what's been working for us. Not a goddamn thing's been working for us. Like this goddamn suit doesn't work for me. And this stinking tie. And this goddamn shirt. It doesn't work for me. You know how to play winning hard-nosed football? You play football like De Janeiro played football. A guy who gave his life for this football team. He was a 140-pound halfback. And he played like a goddamn wild man. No, like a goddamn rampaging beast. And that's the way you're gonna do it. You go out there, you tear their fucking heads off, and you shit down their necks. Let us pray.
Gonzo Radio. Gonzo Radio.
Hi, welcome back to the Gonzo Radio Sports Desk. I went up and refilled the old Gonzo coffee bucket, and I hope none of you had the volume up full blast at work, NSFW, on that last break. Sorry if anybody at Publix heard an F-bomb.
Can I start? I just have one thing I want to say, just to go back.
Well, hang on.
All
I'm
right,
taking my time. I'm stalling because
I was jumping in because you were drinking.
The stupid sports report hasn't come out yet. The stupid sports injury report for all of sports. I mean, hockey, basketball, everything. We get the wire, and they're taking forever. Now, the NFL did this to us last week too, which I'm going to have to make some phone calls. I'm going to have to talk to some people because not that I have any deep contacts in the league. I'm not one with the Shield, but I can send an angry email to the league office. I was like, what the fuck? Because sorry. See, there was one. See, I haven't said the F-bomb the whole show.
That's the first time.
The break did.
Yeah, the first time. That wasn't you though.
Swear jar for me.
Yeah.
When we go, listen, I know how to work clean, so I don't have to worry about dropping F-bombs when we're working for an FCC open-air station, AM, FM, streaming, whatever. Their regs, their regulations, their rules, their barbecue, I know how to work within them. I'll even dye my beard if we're going to go podcast there. But,
Are we live?
Yeah, we're live. Why? Are you going to drop some F-bombs? Say F-E-F-F-F. What?
No, the 9-1 o'clock game.
It's like a maniac. What?
I'm just checking.
What?
We're live, that's all.
Yes, we're live.
Okay.
So any new injury reports?
No.
I want to go over just real quick again. I know before the break we mentioned that DVOA, but I want to just quickly read something about what that is because
he's got his glasses on.
I can't understate the importance of this because we set our lineups on Sunday and we look at the CBS and wherever companies are running your sites and they give the breakdowns and the analysis and you're like, well, this guy's supposed to get 14.2 points. Well, if you notice, a lot of times you take those at face value and they're not even close. Like I go into matchups, I'm 60% chance to win, I lose by 30 points or vice versa. Look into the numbers. And again, I can't underestimate why the importance of these things are coming up. So let me just give you the quick analysis, real quick analysis here. The biggest variable in football is the fact that each team plays a different schedule against teams of desperate quality. By adjusting each play based upon the opposing defense's average success and stopping that type of play over the course of a season, we get DVOA. So again, it's situational stats. It's really getting into the numbers and breaking down the analysis to try and eliminate the variables in a particular analysis. So what's this 3-yard run for? What's this 3-yard run for? They both got 3 yards on the surface. Okay, you can put that in the stat book. You read a box score the next day. Hey, my guy had 12 carries for 48 yards. He had a bad day. Why did he have a bad day? Look inside the numbers and see. That way you can look ahead at the next matchup and go, well, this matchup's clearly going to be better and the situation's therefore going to improve. It's not just box scores and numbers and stuff like that. There are reasons why these things are happening, and it pays. You should pay attention into the analysis in this. It just makes sense, and it's out there. You just got to find it. DVOA, one of the newer sabermetric tools that are out there to help you make you a better player. DFS and also season long. So very important.
I was just throwing a dart at a newspaper.
Yeah, that too. Well, that works too for some, but not consistently. Not consistently. So anyway, just important stuff. DVOA. I'm going to do a lot of reading in this next week about DVOA.
Yeah, you've already done a lot of reading about DVOA.
Need more analysis. I need more analysis.
I have, listen, for those of you out there who are watching that know me in real life, I have warned you that this man is a maniac. He is. I'm really beginning to. I'm trying to find the USB plug port in the back of his head where we're supposed to plug him in and recharge him. Or I think he might be. He might be one of. You might be on one of those like contact rechargers. You have one at home. You just like sit on a chair.
Speaking of contact chargers, did you see Dwight Howard when he did yesterday?
Oh my!
He
God.
made an illegal contact yesterday in a basketball game. Russ, you see this yesterday?
And it was so bad. It was so bad. We tried to rip that video before we went on the air because we were peeing our pants laughing. Okay.
I will say this: that Georges Nang, the offended, should be getting his arrangement bouquet flowers within the next few days because
Damn, at least one rose.
yeah, because he was violated severely. For those who didn't see,
that
Dwight Howard.
constitutes a first date.
Yeah, Dwight Howard last night apparently went to the floor for a rebound or a loose ball or something like that, and supposedly stuck his finger up the keister of a Georges Nang, one of the defenders for the other team, on video, and gets up and either waves it or smells it or does something weird with it. The whole team's laughing. What the hell is he doing? I mean, really?
All right. Listen, let me overanalyze it for you. Okay, they're both going up for a rebound that comes off, and it's a really high bouncer. They're going out of bounds. Okay, when they land, what you see is Howard rolling over onto his arm, but he could have had a more open palm. He was grasping at something, and he got nothing but like middle butt cheek.
You know what?
Like it just he came like this, and he went like that, and it was a grasp, and fingers disappeared into material.
Everybody knows
which is the area where the anal region
Yeah,
is where the kill zone.
He knew where
if
he
you
was.
will. The no parts.
Both guys knew where they were at that point. But I will say this: it definitely reinforces the term reach around because there was definitely a reach around.
My God,
yeah, in that
innocent
situation.
victim.
Terrible.
He was an innocent victim.
What at that point in your mind? What drives you to make that kind of a decision where you're going to put your finger in some guy's butthole? I guess.
I think he was just actually grasping, and he just absolutely accidentally grasped his rectum.
Maybe he lost something earlier in the day we don't know about. Maybe
Checking
there's
him
a
for
side
ticks.
note. Yeah, maybe
Checking
there's
him
more
for
to the story.
ticks.
Who knows? But wow. Okay, so go check out that video and like it because it's
Well, thank you very much
trending.
for watching the Gonzo Radio
Yeah.
Show. We're out
Wow.
of here. You're
See
on
ya.
your own.
See ya.
Screw your DFS. Okay, injury report. Injuries? No.
Yes,
no?
yes, they
I mean, I can
Boom.
start things off by telling you that unequivocally that David Johnson from the Arizona Cardinals will be out today.
Okay.
We knew that.
Yeah.
Keenan Allen will be absent today.
Has that been confirmed?
Has it?
It is a game time decision.
Oh,
Okay.
excuse me.
But even if he
See?
plays,
That was when you got the bug in your eye. You
Right.
you didn't catch that.
Right.
Right.
even if he plays, he's going to be on limited snaps, which we already discussed already in that respect. So
And I believe earlier this year when we were analyzing position by position before the season, Roscoe, you and myself, Hair Guru, we had cited that Keenan Allen is Hall of Fame until he gets hurt. And then when he gets hurt, it steamrolls into him being on the bench.
there's been some nasty ones. The lacerated kidney was one of the
Yeah.
most famous
An
ones.
internal organ. So go ahead.
So we discussed that situation already. As far as Mike Williams, Jeremy Davis,
Right.
whatever. Austin Eckler is a start. If you have him, if you have a situation where he was your third guy, get him in. He's even though it's the Bears, that's the best thing that the Chargers have going.
Oh, okay, Guru, my guru. I have a decision to make between wide receiver Corey Davis for the Tennessee Titans or Austin Eckler for the
Eckler's guaranteed points.
Los
He-
Angeles Chargers.
Eckler has been the point monster.
Right.
He is a guarantee. He is a lock.
Okay.
He's got to be on your roster at least minimum as a flex play.
I think he's third overall in fantasy point production for running back.
Yeah,
so
so-
far this year.
Okay, but we're seeing Corey Davis develop a relationship with Ryan Tannehill.
I understand, but that's on the receiver side. When he's a running back, he's a must start. every week, unless you're going up against the Patriots or possibly the 49ers. But
Well, then we got to end the show early. I got to go do some stuff.
If it's a flex decision, it's probably the running back. Yeah, for sure. I mean, in the flex, because you're guaranteeing. Because for me, for flex, what I'm doing is I'm trying to establish a high floor. And, that's not a spot where you want to reach because you want to take advantage of that situation. So Eckler, I think, in this situation has the higher floor.
Oh, yeah.
Upside-wise, though, it's interesting with Davis. You mentioned with the relationship with Tannehill. Davis has been touted as a number one.
Tannehill is a bromance quarterback. He falls in love with a receiver.
He can
and
throw the
just
ball deep,
feeds
too,
him.
and Davis can feed a little bit today. So it's interesting, but I think both guys are playable. Both guys are startable. But, again, for the higher floor for me in a flex position, it's probably Eckler. Yeah.
And I agree with that. Always, running backs are guaranteed touches.
Yeah.
Period. End of paragraph.
Yeah.
Okay. I agree. Any other significant injuries out there?
Well, sure. Darren Sproles and Deshaun Jackson will be out for Philly. That only leaves them with Miles Sanders and Jordan Howard. So Sanders is definitely a play, even though it's Buffalo, even though it's the wind, and especially because of the wind.
Running backs are the only plays there, and defenses.
So Frank
some
Gore
ball
on
control.
one side, and of course Singletary perhaps, but definitely Miles Sanders. is
Take
a
your
play.
kickers out.
But everybody else is a sit, except for maybe Josh Allen. Maybe Josh
Did you mention
Allen.
Gore as being a starter? No, in
Yeah.
that game because I like Gore a little bit because the Eagles don't defend pass-catching running backs very well.
Right.
And obviously with the ball control system today and the wind and whatnot, obviously Gore should be very.
Yeah, it's
effective
just it's really bad situation. When you're talking 30-mile sustained
Yeah,
winds,
brutal.
that's not a game you want to be in. If you can find another play on your fantasy roster, whether get Joshua Allen out of there, of course get Wentz out, and Alshon Jeffrey is not a play today if that's the case.
No.
You're only going to get 2 good quarters out of those guys.
Yeah, John Brown was popular. He's a popular trend
Yeah,
this
that's
week
another
in
one.
daily. And,
Not today.
and I had him. I took him out too. So
Yeah, I mean, as somebody who grew up, who had no choice back in the days of network TV coverage, I had no choice but to catch games from Buffalo because Buffalo was the hot thing in the 90s.
Sure.
Okay, late 80s, early 90s. Hot. So we got a lot of Buffalo games here. And, of course, they play the Miami Dolphins, AFC, yada, 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 regional. But I have seen games where teams, they talk about Chicago's the Windy City. They talk about the mistake by the lake being a wind hole, the old Cleveland Municipal Stadium. No. Let me tell you about Buffalo. I have seen footballs get blown 90 degrees. It's gone. It's and the ball just hangs a left turn. Just 90 degrees, blown straight down from above, like the finger of God. So Buffalo has evil wind. And when they say it's blowing 25 to 30 miles per hour with gusts up to 40,
40, yeah, it's blowing.
those are those 40-mile-an-hour gusts.
Yeah, and clearly we talked about it. Wind is, of all the weather factors, wind plays the most effect, more than rain, more than snow even. It's just the wind. You can't throw. You're throwing to a spot, and
Right.
you want to hit a spot, but yet the wind changes halfway and when the ball's on way. What do? You can't predict for that. You can't set for that, no matter how good of a quarterback you are, and no matter how good the receiver is. So, yeah, wind is the worst of all the conditions in sports.
I want to know who are the people who decided to settle there. Okay, because that is in an area where you get lake effect snow.
Yeah, a lot of
where
it.
you get freight train blizzards that give you 9 feet of snow.
Yeah, snow drifts that are 2
that
stories
bury
high. Yeah.
a full-sized city. Now, Buffalo's no small town. It's a good-sized town. But I want to know, back in the, 18th century, who went through one of those winters back in the 18th century?
Yeah, well,
and
our
went,
forefathers,
I
obviously.
could live here.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
could build a city here. Who? What nut?
Well, they clearly started in
I mean,
May, and then they got to December, and they're like, "Holy
right?
hell!"
You go through one.
Yeah.
The first
What are
one.
we doing
one of
here?
those where it kills half the people in your family.
Yeah.
What'd she die
Yeah.
of? Frostbite.
Yeah,
Went to bed and didn't wake up.
His hand was like next to him when he woke up. It fell
woke
off.
up frozen.
Yeah, funny.
Yeah. Who decided to do that?
Well,
That's just nuts.
That's what makes him
But
very
otherwise,
strong.
Love you, Buffalo. You're awesome.
Yeah, a strong group of people
Strong.
for sure. Yeah.
Strong.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, another game to look at is the Broncos and Colts. Colts are missing their number 2 and their number 3 cornerbacks. They lost. They shipped Emmanuel Sanders to the 49ers.
Right.
Of course, Cortland Sutton's the everything now receiver there. He's already had a good season to start with, but before
It's
before
about to
the
get
trade,
better.
Can I go on a limb? T.Y. Hilton has not had a 100-yard game this year yet. So it may happen today.
It's
Starting
a
today.
possibility. The question was who the other Bronco receiver is. That's the real question.
Well, it's Cortland Sutton and
Ricky Jackson.
Yeah.
Deshaun Hamilton
Cool.
is the name that's coming up
It's not
All right.
Ricky Jackson.
another
on the depth chart,
Yeah.
and it's just a nobody. It's a team to stay away from. Unless you have a running back situation, maybe you can use a Royce Freeman as an emergency running back if you have
I
a
still
situation.
see Philip Lindsay as a legit threat.
Oh yeah, Lindsay. Okay, Lindsay is still the man, but
He's still a legit
the
threat.
Colts should do a number on them. The problem the Broncos are having is with Flacco and keeping the ball in their hands.
Wow.
And the Colts should have a pretty easy time with the Broncos today. You gotta like T.Y. Hilton, and you gotta love Marlon Mack today. And
Boy, speaking of Flacco, didn't he make a ton of money off that post NFL MVP trophy that he got 73 years ago? I mean, he's been bad for years, but yet he gets so much. I mean, it's like Flacco. The deep ball.
He's had some real flashes of greatness this year.
Flashes.
He's made some great throws. He's been a real good starting quarterback.
Right.
Not excellent, not a game breaker, but
I looked at, if you remember that book I picked up in the offseason by Sharp, Kevin Sharp was his name, it went into all the sabermetrics.
yeah, oh yeah.
Everybody was talking about Flacco and how much of a deep ball threat he is and passer. He ranked second last over the last 3 years in terms of deep ball efficiency. So just because you can throw the ball a mile doesn't mean you can find your receiver. So, I mean, you still got to be able to let the guy catch it. So, yeah, the Flacco is come and gone. That era is finished. And I'm sure, as you can see, all these backup quarterbacks, they're definitely looking for a quarterback next year. Yeah. So
But how pissed off has Flacco got to be, though, that he's gone now, and what is it, Marquise Brown is there?
Yeah.
Marquise Brown, a guy who could probably run under one of his big, huge, 70-yard
I know.
Mongo
Yeah.
bombs that he throws out there. Yeah, that guy could run under that.
Yeah, for sure.
And John Brown could run under him, too, but
again, he just because you can throw it a mile, it doesn't mean that there's somebody on the other end that can catch it. And
Right.
that's been the issue with him. Clearly, the numbers have showed that. So,
oh, yeah.
yeah.
All right.
in
So,
the Broncos-Lions game, I think we already discussed the Lions situation. They're missing a couple of corners in Darius Slay and Amani Orwali, and the Giants are missing Sterling Shepard. So there's Slayton, I believe his name is. Darius Slayton will be one of the Giant receivers today. Hopefully,
a sneaky pick.
Engram has a good game. Go ahead.
No, a sneaky pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a little late-minute addition in case you're on a one of those double buys, one of those you got all kinds of guys on a buy today or injured or whatever, and you need to pick somebody up desperately. There you go. I like that, Slayton.
Right. And we already discussed the Lions situation, so we're good to go on that game.
Uh-huh.
Very few are reporting for whatever reason. I don't understand. Here it's 11:53, and I've got like three games that are reporting at a 1
They're
o'clock
doing it
game.
just to piss me off.
It's just unbelievable what's going on here. What are you gonna do?
Well, then everybody's fine. Okay, let's move on to the DFS portion, and maybe as they come rolling in, hopefully we'll catch
one more
the latest.
injury to discuss.
Oh, there
though,
we go.
Is
Yes,
Ryan Matt Ryan's ankle?
Yeah,
He's out today
Out.
for the first time since 2009. The fifth longest active streak in the National Football League, third longest for a quarterback.
and is Jake Long still playing?
He was hurt. I think he got hurt a few weeks back, actually, in all seriousness.
The
That we
backup
can
is
check,
Matt
but-
Schwab. The
No,
Seahawks
I'm
are
talking about the Jake Long that played for the Miami Dolphins.
The offensive lineman, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, hurt.
I think
No, that's Howie Long's kid.
you're right. I think the Jake Long's retired, isn't he?
Yeah, he's retired.
I thought he got hurt. I
He
saw him in the
retired
news
like
recently.
2 years ago.
Has it been that long? Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're talking. This is what is this? This is Ryan or this is Matt Ryan's 15th season?
Yeah.
16th
The
season?
Seahawks are looking to move Rashad Penny, by the way, in that game.
No, wait. It was 2007.
2005.
No, 2007. So this has got to be his 12th season. So, yeah, you go ahead and look it up. So go ahead.
Oh, one other thing on the Lions running backs. They may be looking for a running back, and the Dolphins are selling a running back right now. It's out there that they want to move Kenyon Drake.
Yeah, and let me tell you what, they're holding their line at a minimum 4th round draft.
Yeah, 4th round,
So-
which I would, if I was the Lions, I'd take that.
Remember, I mentioned that last week, or 2 weeks ago, when I went and I picked up Drake on the waiver 2 weeks ago. I said, I'm hoping the Dolphins it looked like they were starting to use him more, and then maybe in an effort to maybe trade him, because they've never gotten full value out of him in any capacity. So moving
Nope,
him,
the Miami Miracle, thank you.
obviously, if there's stockpile draft picks.
Yeah,
Just
and
keep
I think
stockpiling draft
Detroit
picks.
might be a trading partner there. Especially, they're both expatriate coaches, by the way.
Oh, well, the show has gone international. HT Mole is in the house.
Oh.
HT Moel.
Very nice.
Coming
Coming
at you from the Holy Land.
Yes, live from Israel.
Live from Israel. And he says that Flacco is a joke, and he would know because he lived in Baltimore for a while, and he knows what kind of a joke that is. That's fine. Flacco's fine. But anyway, what are you looking at?
Just looking at Matt Ryan's stats. I'm just pulling up. It's just
well,
slow.
don't start studying now. We got to get out of here. We got to finish up with our DFSs.
I know. I got locked in Matt Ryan. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, DFS. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Quarterbacks. Who do we like today? I am in love with Deshaun Watson. That offensive line has been a different team, have made them a different team over the last 3 weeks. 1 sack in the last 3 weeks total for that offensive line.
Took a minute for Laramie Tunsil.
And they've scored 1 million points in the last 3 weeks. They're healthy. They're throwing the ball a lot. Obviously, with Hopkins being one of the best receivers in the league, my quarterback today is Deshaun Watson.
Well, as somebody who owns Carlos Hyde on multiple rosters, I hope that they get their
Yeah, I'm
feet
playing him
under
in one of
them.
my leagues. So
Yeah.
as bad as he was, he got me less than 2 fantasy points last week. I got a feeling home game. Let's give him another shot.
I have been on this next running back, and I know I've been preaching this about these friggin' New England running backs and how do you pick their spots. I got James White today. I just think
Hi, Debbie.
he is leading the league in red zone attempts. Okay, and he only has 2 touchdowns on the year so far.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
So it's gonna that all their running backs at some point during the year, each of them individually go off for 3 touchdowns twice a year. All right, James White's gonna have one of these games, and I'm hoping it's today. So I got
Could
James
be.
White. in
They
the
get
lineup.
Burkhead back. Watch out.
He is on a DFS for me.
Yeah, and another guy too, Gurley. I've been anti-Gurley.
Yeah, but it's the Bengals. You got to play him.
It's a smash spot today for him and the offense, and with game script, and then with the lead. I mean, plus Henderson's hurt. Isn't the backup hurt? I saw.
Brown.
I have
Malcolm
him
Brown?
as a flex on
So
a DFS.
anyway, so he's hurt. So
Yeah, anytime you can throw a running back against the Bengals, do it every
Gurley's a
single
smash
time.
not for today. So,
Every time.
receiver wise for DFS today, I already mentioned Watson, so I'm going to pair Hopkins with him. Obviously, if Watson goes, Hopkins goes
Certainly
with him.
hope so.
Yeah, no Fuller.
No Fuller. I mentioned this. We mentioned about defensive.
So Kenny Stills is a nice sneaky pick.
No,
Well, I
he's
got him in the
very
flex.
sneaky.
Got him
Very,
in the flex.
very cheap in a DFS.
but here's the thing.
Got him on a DFS.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be sneaky. I think his ownership's going to be up there. But I think it's almost like check the box type thing because everybody's going to be on him. And if that's the case, you want to be on him too. T.Y. Hilton, we mentioned the fact that Denver's secondary's beat up a little bit.
solid,
Big on T.Y.
solid can be.
And Kenny Galladay.
Gotta have it.
Kenny Galladay.
Maybe
also
today is Galladay Day.
Yeah, another one. So I got a couple of guys in some smash spots today that if they come through and it should be
Yeah,
a big
Marvin
day.
got his last week. It's Kenny's turn.
We mentioned Kenny
Yes,
Stills.
We like that. Kenny, T.Y. Yeah, what he said. What that guy said.
Cameron Brate. We mentioned the tight end. Not out, although he hasn't been really much of a factor.
I am about to build a DFS lineup around him today.
Yeah, I think Cameron
I
Brate.
think he's going to have a giant day.
Okay, well, we'll see. I mean, hopefully for him with his price, I'm hoping for 6 catches, 60 yards, and a touchdown, and I'd be just thrilled to
You're
death.
happy with that,
yeah,
sure.
thrilled to death. And for defense, I'm gonna listen. I touted the Niners earlier. I said they're a great team, and they are, but they're playing Carolina today, and even though San Francisco's 6-0, undefeated, all the numbers match, the sabermetrics are there. It's the NFL. It's tough to win every week. Carolina's going to bring it today on defense, I think, and it's a tough spot.
I don't know if you can get the Steelers in there on a Monday night, but they're good to go this week. The Rams at home, in London, hosting the Bengals.
Yeah, another
It's
one.
another good defensive play this week.
Yeah, but the Panthers round out my DFS lineup for defense today. They will not be highly owned. You're going to get them at less than 2 or 3%. And I'm high on the Panthers. I think they create some turnovers, and that game stays low total.
If that defense goes off, you could end up jumping a lot of spots in your tournaments. I'll tell you that.
For sure, because of the low ownership. And again, in these GPPs, we've talked about it before. GPPs are the guaranteed prize pools, the larger fields where there's sometimes multiple entries. You need to separate yourself from the field. You're not looking to take guys 30-40% owned, but instead you are looking to take guys that are 2 and 3% owned in spots that
What
go
do you think of Kyler Murray's chances at the Saints?
The Saints defense has been so good. And even though I think you may still see him play a decent game, stat-wise, sabermetric-wise, it's just a tough spot.
Of
So,
course.
Yeah, it's a tough spot.
So
for
that's
him.
why I say you might get a good price on the Saints.
For sure in the Saints. But I think, if anything, Murray's a guy to play the following week because you're seeing steady progression. And even though this may show, even if he struggles today, I'm not going to be disappointed in how Murray's played to this point this year. Because, again, the young coach, Johnson being hurt, bad offensive line, they've had some obstacles, and they're being fairly competitive, and he's playing pretty well. So if they even hit a road bump today, that's going to help us next week because they're going to depress his value, and everybody's going to like, oh, it's Murray, and it's the Cardinals, and they suck. Don't know who they're playing next week, but they're probably in a plus spot just because of how things may set up today.
Don't get too far. I mean, I know we've got about 4 or 5 people who are, close to understanding what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah.
And I'm really understanding myself.
Yeah.
So just slow down. Take it easy.
Go Cardinals. Yeah.
Go Cardinals.
Next week, not this week.
It's like,
Yeah.
you're going too fast.
Yeah, go Cardinals.
This will be podcasted on YouTube, so you can go back and take notes on that. I'm going to pop it back up, so hopefully the information is useful to you for the 4 o'clock games as well. Okay, what else you got real quick? Or not real quick?
I don't know. What do you got?
No real rush.
9 1 o'clock games. Let's rock and roll.
9 1 o'clock games. Well, then we got shit to do.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then on behalf of myself, I guess that wraps us up. Yeah, we're wrapped. On behalf of myself, Damaz, the Guru's Guru, say goodbye to the nice people.
So long, people. Nice people.
Are you winding up for this one? So say goodbye to the nice people.
Oh, my turn. Goodbye, nice people.
Okay, because then it comes back to me, and then I got to do all the web bullshit, and I got to tell everybody to go to the Gonzo Radio, the Gonzo Radio Network, www.gonzoradionetwork.com. That is where you can actually join our mailing list, because I want you to start being able to get in on the ground floor of some of the stuff that we're doing as we expand and as we continue to bring better value to our real fans. The network is now starting to pop off more shows like this one, like the Gonzo Radio Sports Desk, and the Gonzo Radio Show, which will be tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Shameless plug. But subscribe to the network. Go to the website. There'll be a link on the network page, on the YouTube network page. It's like right over here, and you're gonna hit that button, and that takes you to our website, which is the Gonzo Radio Network. And then sign up for the email list so we can start giving you advance notice and give you special privileges, because we're setting things up for privileges. And people are like,
VIPs.
swag? I love swag. I want some swag. So I need you guys to start signing up, start bookmarking, subscribing, start showing your Gonzo Radio Network love, especially for this show, because there's going to be new T-shirts coming out, by the way. And yes, you can both have one.
I
But
thought I was getting 2.
no, just one. So go to the network. It's, once again, www.gonzoradionetwork.com. Not Gonzo Radio Show, Gonzo Radio Network. Gonzo Radio Show is a show on the network. Starting to get it now. Yeah, it's a lot of work. It really is. But it's a lot of fun. So I'm loving it. Also, Gonzo Radio Show and Gonzo Radio Network on Facebook. You can check out the Maz at MLBJoyUs.
That's
Did I
correct.
get that right?
You
Yeah.
did. That's correct.
That's on Twitter. And you can also...
Instagram.
Instagram. We can also be found on Instagram at Gonzo Radio Podcast and at Gonzo Radio Sports Desk. There's 2 different Instagram pages. One's for us, the Sports Desk, and then tomorrow night, those idiots, they'll have... by the way, we have Dan Long on tomorrow night. Really, really good local and nationally touring comic. So it'll be a lot of fun to see him. Dan's very tall, like taller than me, and I'm tall. So... yeah, that's about it. We'll see you guys next week. Oh, what? You're giving me the finger.
Don't forget the Guru's Guru.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. The Guru's Guru on Facebook. By the way, if you really want to get like the down and dirty dope, but only if you don't play on the Screwy Louie Football League, because he's not going to cut his own throat with his own advice. But make sure you check that out on Facebook as well, because I think I've created a monster with that. I don't know. It's a monster with a hat. He's a monster with a hat. So say goodbye to the nice people once again.
Goodbye, nice people, once again.
Goodbye, nice people, once again.
All right. We'll see you guys at 11 a.m. once again live next week here on the Gonzo Radio Network. Thanks. Wait, there it is. Bye.